Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch it. Okay. I know where to release the fire door. Don't open the door.
Alex.
Don't.
Baby, there's something in the door. Baby, we can't get into you. There's something in the door. I don't know. What?
What does it look like?
What does it look like? Okay. It's green, like a spray deodorant can. I don't know. Can't see.
Okay. It's a grenade.
God damn, that sounded hot.
That was sexy.
That was sexy. So far, before recording, we've had clamps out already.
Clamps.
Yep. Let's see. Back issues. Yeah, this is an old guy podcast. but
it's all behind the scenes. You didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything. But no. This is what happens when you go 350 episodes. That's right. It's our 350th episode. And it is a very important one because it is the Pint meets Pinto Comics for the first time.
Holy fuck.
First time ever. That's right. My name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
Oh, I have to introduce myself?
You do.
Why? It's only been 350 episodes.
That's right.
Fucker. Oh, I can swear on this, right?
You can.
Oh, good, because I can't do that on my show. Hi, I'm Sir John. How are you?
He's Sir John. And
or Ganesh Manster and Sir John.
That's right.
Oh,
Go back to that. Go back to that. Absolutely.
That's a throwback.
So this is it. We're sitting, pre-COVID. We're sitting in the same place for the first time in a long time.
Same fucking room, all three of us.
That's right. First time. And John's last episode, I think, was about 149 of the podcast. That was around August of 2020. I was looking this up.
Wow.
To say that 150 and beyond. So 200 episodes.
Somewhere around Wicker Man?
No, Wicker Man was a while before that.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. The last episode that John was on, but it was not the last episode that he recorded, but it was the last episode we recorded live together pre-COVID. You were not there. Was top 10 favorite character actors.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Mike Simonetta and Scary Larry Dwyer, and that was the same night we did The Greasy Strangler.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, God. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I'm the Greasy Strangler.
There should be more grease in this coffee.
Yeah. Sir, I simply cannot do that. I cannot put that amount of grease on a hot dog. So we're going to talk all about where John's been. And
but not micro penises.
No, not at all. We'll talk about Pint of Comics. We'll talk about all that good stuff. But we got to get into what we're here to talk about. It's a Triple T episode. This is very special for main feed listeners because we turned the Triple T over to the Pint Insiders only. This is the first one we've done on the main feed in quite a while. And it's a big one because this is going back a long way. Speed 2, cruise control. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Want to ring the bell?
All right. Ding, ding.
So, John, this is the part that me and you have to talk
Oh,
because.
God, why?
So here's the story.
I want to hear the birth of this.
You don't want the afterbirth? You want
No,
the
just the
You
birth.
don't want the placenta?
I'll go for the pre-cum if you want.
You don't want the John placenta? So, about 20 years ago, okay, in the year 2000, John and I used to hang out at a unnamed comic book store in Wallingford, Connecticut. And
Gee, that doesn't point it out on the map.
Doesn't narrow it down.
doesn't narrow it down. Still there, you can find it. And we
It may be relocated.
We used to. It's actually where I met Lloyd too. So that's kind of what brings all this together. We used to sit down and eat our lunch and help bag comics and board comics and discuss like stuff of the day. There was a dart league at one point. It was all very exciting, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
That's where we actually used to hang out with our prior podcasts, buddy Vinny. Shout out to Vinny Agasta. But anyways, one day while eating, I'm sure John was throwing ketchup packets at the owner of the store.
Never happened.
As he did.
No, that's fake news.
Somehow
Can't keep that up.
Somehow Speed 2 became a topic, right? Speed 2, which at that point was probably like 4 years old, maybe. And here is what I said. I said Speed 2 is not that bad of an action movie.
And that's what he said.
That's what he said.
And I disagreed.
Sir John disagreed vehemently and has made my life a living hell for 20 years by doing multiple things, such as abusing me over that one statement. John, tell everybody about Speed 2 Month and your blog that you had at one point.
You had to use that word. I call it a weblog.
Weblog, okay.
But again, I wish I could find it because it's out there somewhere if someone wants to search for it. It was called A Leaf on the Wind.
That's right.
And it was by me. And I did a thing called Speed 2 Month where I would take the month of June or sometimes July when I would forget. And then I would watch movies all month comparing them to Speed 2.
Which John has often said, I don't know if your stance is still this way.
It still is.
The worst movie you've ever seen? or
It is the worst movie of its type created to now.
Okay.
Yeah. It is the worst movie I have. This is my pinnacle of worst movies.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
So
there is an how do I want to put this? There is a method to what movies get compared to it. I can't compare like Plan 9 from Outer Space to this because there's a whole reason for that, and I could go down that whole reason.
This is a big budget movie.
Yeah, huge budget.
That was made to be,
this thing really gets hot, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got to kind of that was made to kind of be the biggest movie of the summer.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, blockbusters again. I mean, thanks to Jaws. Really?
That's right.
Because that was the
featuring Roy Schneider, right?
Schneider.
Did you really call him Schneider?
No, I did by mistake once. And
really?
He's been correcting me.
Good for you. Every time I correct him.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
He loves it.
I do. I only call him Schneider now. And funnily enough, I only call Fred Schneider from the B-52s Schneider. Fred Schneider.
So what do you do with One Day at a Time?
Oh, he's super like Schneider.
Wow, you just blew my mind.
I'm gonna reverse Schneider and Schneider forever now.
Right.
Yeah, forever.
Schneider.
So here's what we do on the Triple T's if you're a listener and you've never heard it before.
Yeah.
It's trash, tolerable, or treasure. Now we already know where John's gonna land, but you don't know where me and Lloyd are gonna land. And what we do is we're going to talk about the movie. We're going to talk about the box office. We're going to talk about certain things about the movie, the cast. We'll kind of determine what might have been a problem here or there. We'll do likes and dislikes. And then at the end, we're going to take this movie, which is widely considered a trash movie, and then determine in each of our own opinions whether we think it is truly trash, whether it's tolerable. It's not that bad. Okay, right? It's not that bad. Or if it's a treasure.
Is it truly a treasure?
It might be a treasure. There have been a couple. There have been a couple that I know I've said have been treasures. You have too as well. But
can you give me an example?
I'm trying to think of something
I believe Waterworld for you was
Waterworld was a treasure.
Well, you've never had a problem with Waterworld.
Right.
So-
Right. But it's a trash movie in consensus.
Yeah.
Right.
guess.
And the consensus is usually a popular opinion, box office bomb. So we kind of do it amongst for different things.
Prometheus a Triple T?
Prometheus was, I gave that a tolerable because it has things I like about it, but it's not
That's not a surprise from either of you at this point now. So now I'm worried.
Okay. Well, we know where you're going to land on, but that's for the end of the show. So let's talk a little bit about Speed 2 Cruise Control.
God.
So right off the bat, we were talking about this a little bit, and this did come out. I didn't write the date down.
I just want to say one thing.
Go for it.
Fuck you, John DeBond.
Oh, okay. All
John
right.
DeBond, John DeBond,
It's
however
Jan.
you want to pronounce it. I don't fucking
DeBond.
care. Because fuck this guy.
Okay.
Fuck you,
Jan de Bont.
Jan DeBond.
All right.
One more time.
Directed by Jan de Bont, Speed 2 Cruise Control.
June 13th? Is that what
June
the date you were looking
13th
for?
of 1997. This came out about 3 years after the original Speed which was a surprise hit, right?
it was one of those Cinderella movies. It was
Yes.
It was low budget, was expected to do nothing, and then suddenly was a mega hit for what it was. Sleeper hit, that's what they call it.
super big sleeper hit of that summer. And that was a summer that had a lot of things that were popping out.
And I don't know about you guys, but I have not seen Speed in probably 20 years.
Well, yeah. Well,
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But it certainly is, it's a fun movie.
I remember thinking it was fun. Yeah.
It kind of was the first round. So Keanu Reeves in his career has had multiple like spaces of big movie disappear, big movie disappear. It's almost been like Bill and Ted and Point Break, where his like kind of beginnings kind of disappeared, did some things in between, wasn't that big. Speed, suddenly he's big again. Kind of goes back down to not doing, really big things. The Matrix, super hot. Disappears again, right? John Wick.
Yeah.
Megastar again, right? So the big thing with Speed 2, before anything happened, before it was even begun to be filmed, was their star said no.
yeah.
Right? So right off the bat, that's crippling to a movie like this because Speed did one thing. It didn't make a star of Keanu Reeves, but
It did.
it brought him to another, and it made Sandra Bullock
Correct.
a huge star. Because at that point, her biggest role was probably Demolition Man, where she played like a second fiddle, and While You Were Sleeping was a year later or so.
Right.
That was the one that kind of like solidified her kind of in that almost rom-com, America's Sweetheart. But Speed put her on that map.
On the map, yeah.
Right. So when you have one of them who comes back because you said what? She was contractually obligated.
Contracted for at least 2, if not 3 movies. I had that information. Again, if I could find my blog, it would all be in there. Can't even find it. Ridiculous.
But apparently Keanu was not contracted to a second movie.
He was not. And
So how do you do that? Why do you not contract both of your stars?
Well, maybe he was playing hardball. Maybe he was in a movie called Hardball too.
Yeah.
Maybe he was hoping that this thing would give him a better payday. But he reads the script, and apparently he's not crazy about it.
And he chose to do another movie.
Right.
Devil's Advocate?
He did The Devil's Advocate,
You know the other one?
Chain Reaction.
Exactly.
Chain Reaction, which funnily enough, our friends over at Forgotten Cinema just did this week. That was the other movie he chose to do, that was a mega bomb.
And Chain Reaction, I did compare to Speed 2 at one point on the Speed 2 movie.
How did it rate?
Oh, it's a much better movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it.
It's not a great movie. It's not a strong movie. It's an enjoyable, watchable movie. Plus, it has Rachel Weisz in it. So can't hurt that. And Morgan Freeman and a couple of other people. And it's a fun movie. Plus, it was also filmed partially in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which...
Oh, okay. Sir John's Home Away from Home. Gary Con.
Yeah.
Refer to episode 1 of The Pint, a.k.a. Pint of Comics, to hear all about Gary Con way back in 2017.
Really?
Our first episode, we talked about Gary Con.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We were really
The whole show is Gary
We were
Con.
going for a niche audience.
Yeah.
That's for
Not anymore.
Somehow I hooked on to that and enjoyed it.
Several people did, apparently, so good for them. Thank you. He also was touring with his band Dogstar.
Yes.
That was what he claimed. Apparently, he wasn't very happy with the script. So Jan de Bont, who John just said fuck you to, is the director of this film. He directed Speed as well. He also directed Twister the year before this. And then a couple years after this, he directed the remake of The Haunting.
I got some other, when he was director of photography, he worked on some good films.
Yeah,
as well.
he actually was he a Spielberg guy or?
Well, he did Cujo, Ruthless People, Die Hard, Hunt for Red October, Lethal Weapon 3,
Yeah.
Basic Instinct.
3.
Yeah,
Ooh.
3.
Yeah.
Also got he got scalped by a lion.
What?
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, doing the cinematographer for the movie Roar.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, he got scalped by a lion, took 220 stitches to put his scalp back on his head.
That sucks for him.
I don't remember Roar. What was that?
Obviously not a big movie.
Yeah, I think it's a small budget lion, maybe in a house movie.
Lion in a house, that's rough.
Yeah, I will tell you this, just a quick detour. Last year, I watched a movie that I actually was very surprised by. Idris Elba,
Yeah.
Beast. Did you
Yeah.
see that? Where
With the lion, right?
With the lion.
Yeah, no,
That
I
was
did not see it.
Good man versus animal movie.
Did
I
we
was
just
very
speak about
surprised.
Idris Elba? Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, we did. All right, so that's who made it. Let's
Fuck that guy.
You don't like Idris Elba?
No.
Oh.
Jan de Bont.
Oh,
Fuck
yes.
you, Jan de Bont.
right, so that's who made this movie, and that's kind of the story behind it a little bit. Why don't we talk about the cast of this film?
Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
So here are some of the names that they wanted to use to replace
Don't make it worse.
Keanu Reeves. The first one was a suggestion from one Miss Sandra Bullock, who had just starred in a movie with him that was his star-making movie, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey was one of the original people, but they thought he didn't have enough star power, which is crazy seeing who they picked.
Yeah, right.
And do you have more of them there?
How about Simon Baker Denny?
Oh, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Simon Baker, what show is that?
Oh,
I know the name,
the
but-
Mentalist.
Mentalist. Yeah, that guy.
Day of the or Land of the Dead. Yeah, he's in Land of the Dead. Okay, yeah.
Really?
How about this one? A guy who just talked a woman down from jumping off a bridge.
God, not John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi.
I didn't hear about the bridge thing, but I did hear about Bon Jovi being a possibility.
Yeah, very recently talked a woman off a bridge.
Which is very crazy because over on the Pint Insider, I just did a Triple T episode with our buddy Stu.
Oh God, not.
And it was a movie that John Bon Jovi was the original choice to play. It was the Crow sequel, City of Angels.
Ugh.
He was the original choice to play the new Crow character.
How old would he have been?
At that time,
Yeah.
almost 30 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was 1996.
So
I
like
think.
40.
Yeah.
All right, a couple
nice.
others. Patrick Muldoon,
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Christian Slater,
Christian Slater, I read, yes.
and Billy the Bald Man Zane.
Zane, I read Zane too. Zane might have been good.
Yeah, it could have been.
Zane might have been good. He's usually good in anything. Well, they went and they picked son of Jason Miller, a.k.a. the priest from The Exorcist. Jason Patrick. He plays Officer Alex Shaw.
What did he do before this?
The Lost Boys, your favorite
My fucking
movie.
worst favorite movie.
Probably the only big thing he did before this, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd done a few other movies, but they all tanked, right?
He did that movie where he was like what the fuck was it? He was like a drug addicted undercover Rush.
Rush. Yeah, Rush. Yeah.
He did Rush.
All right, so that didn't do badly, though.
I think he's one of these guys that maybe is better in like a dramatic role than like tentpole action movie role. He was also in The Losers, which was a Vertigo DC.
He was in that?
He was
I
the
saw
bad
that.
guy. He was the villain in that film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sleepers.
he is going to be Sleepers,
Why?
and he is going to be in the big sequel of the year, Terrifier 3.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I have no interest in that.
I saw the first one. I had no desire to see the second one.
First one sucked.
What did he get paid for that?
Who knows?
Like, $150,000.
I don't know. I don't know. That movie, that second movie made a lot of money.
It did.
All right. So as the villain, John Geiger, we have Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe steps in and he does his best Cyrus the Virus Grissom, John Malkovich from Con Air. You know him from Platoon, The Life Aquatic, and the very weird, which I finally just watched like maybe a month ago, The Lighthouse.
Ooh. That was fun.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I knew you'd like that. As soon as I said it, I went, John's going to like this.
It was nuts. It was
I didn't see it.
great.
There's a lot of farting in it. And
Robert Pattinson was awesome. They were great together. They were nuts.
You don't like my cooking? I would have to watch it again it was like a fever dream, that movie.
It was. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They're drinking turpentine. They're farting on each other. There's mermaids. Robert Pattinson is fucking jacking off like a madman.
Is it better than my favorite mermaid movie, The Lure?
The Lure. I think I enjoyed The Lure more.
Yeah.
The Lure this is a crazy one. The Lure
It's
made
a
Polish movie.
Polish mermaid movie that Scary Larry
Polish
made us
disco
watch.
mermaid, man-eating mermaid movie.
Okay. Yeah, that's a scary.
I did skip over at the beginning, by the way, playing Annie Porter is Sandra Bullock. Obviously, she's a star. I started with Jason
Stuck
Patrick.
returning to this piece of
She definitely did.
Film.
And since we're talking about...
Willem Dafoe looked pretty fucking good as a villain in this.
He did. He's pretty crazy looking for sure.
Yeah.
And
Makes you think he could have played the Joker at some point,
he
right?
definitely could have played the Joker at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's definitely right up Sir John's alley because it's so odd. Playing the role of Mr. Kenter, it's Tim Conway.
I had forgotten
In a
about
cameo.
In a cameo, obviously the Carol Burnett show, Dorf on Golf, McHale's Navy.
He used to fucking stand on his knees. Remember that?
Yeah, he's
That was
hilarious. Him and Harvey Korman, two of the funniest guys on the planet.
What a great comedy team.
I read I read that they offered him this role as a way to like, I guess like kickstart his career again, but I don't, it's not even funny. It's his whole sequence isn't even funny and he's not funny in it. It's just, there's more of just the factor of
It's because of the sequence itself.
the sequence itself. And Sandra, look, we're going to talk about our likes and dislikes, but we're on the cast right now. Sandra Bullock is phoning this movie in the whole fucking time.
That's some of my notes. Like
She looks great.
What is she doing? She looks fantastic.
She looks so good.
But it's not my Sandra Bullock.
No, she looks so good, but she is phoning the fuck out of this performance. Jason Patrick is actually performing in this movie, and I'll give him that much credit.
He's trying, yeah.
He's trying, and they give him. He's got a big load. Like there's a lot of like.
I'm sure he's got.
There's a lot going on there, but she is phoning this shit in. All right, let's go a little bit further with the cast. Playing Jango Fett, first mate Giuliano. It's Temuera Morrison, star of the Book of Boba Fett, Attack of the Clones, and he was in Barbed Wire.
Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
Aquaman.
yeah, Aquaman. Thomas Curry.
Daddy.
Still haven't seen either of those movies, but I know he's in it.
It's yeah. You don't have to.
Playing Captain Pollard is Bo Svensson. North Dallas 40, Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood and the Delta Force.
Well, Walking Tall too. Buford Pusser.
Oh, was he?
Plus the TV show.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Plus the TV show.
Yeah, there was a TV show for
I know
Walking
that.
Tall. He was Buford Pusser in that. He wasn't in the original, but in 2 he was.
Okay, all right.
Also, he's in Inglourious Bastards.
Was he?
He's in the original Inglourious Bastards, right? Yeah. Playing one of the things this movie does is in Speed there was the folks on the bus that you get to know and you get to like,
because there's like 5 of them.
Alan Ruck, the bus driver who's an odd looking dude. You get to know and like these people.
Yeah,
they really try hard to make you like the different contingent of passengers and crew on this thing, and none of those characters are either fleshed out in any way, shape, or form, or likable. Even the deaf little girl.
That's totally in my notes. She was the best character in the movie, and she disappeared as soon as they rescued her.
Right,
gone.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you want to say about it?
I mean, the characters that they introduced to you, so you're supposed to like them and be associated with them in some way. And by the time the boat crashes, none of that exists anymore.
No.
None of them. Yeah. None of them. Not even the boat crew. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
The fucking movie is such a piece of shit.
Stay tuned for John's tea.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, Colleen Camp plays Debbie. She's one of the passengers. I picked her because she looks great in Clue. Police Academy 2 and 4. She starred as Tackleberry's wife, and she was in Apocalypse Now as one of the bunnies when they end up with the Playboy bunnies. And finally,
let me go with one.
Go ahead.
Michael Haggerty.
Is he the fat guy with the mustache?
Yeah, the fat guy with the mustache.
I know.
As Harvey.
He's a character actor.
You know him from just like every like sitcom that was ever made, like back in those days.
Like
he played Mr. Trigger on Friends.
Yeah.
He was the.
He's not the cable guy who Kramer's fucking with. That's the guy from Jericho, who's also he was the cop in Jericho, one of the sheriffs in Jericho.
Oh yeah, and.
Another heavy
Seinfeld.
guy.
Yeah.
Who was he on Seinfeld?
He was supposed to be a recurring character on Seinfeld, and it didn't happen. It happened on Friends, though.
Yeah, it was on Friends. Yeah. There was another show. I forget what it was, though. I didn't write them all down. He was in Brewster's Millions.
He was the guy that... no, that wasn't him.
Was he the cabana wear guy?
Yes, that's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that George sells his father's cabana wear to, and it's full of moths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Totally. Wayne's World.
That's right. He's the station manager, or he's one of the guys that works in the station at Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's that guy that as soon as I saw him, like, I know that guy from a million things, not one I can name.
Yeah.
He's not Dick Miller, though.
No, they're known as Dick Miller. The last guy we have here, unfortunately, died like 2 years ago of a heart fucking aneurysm. Brian McCarty. He plays Merked, who is like the third in charge of the boat. I always remember him. He was in The Ghost in the Darkness. He's a Scottish actor.
Oh, you love that.
The Damned United, which is a good movie with Michael Sheen about a English football team, and Rob Roy.
Oh yeah, Rob Roy, which was either a really good movie or a really shitty movie, depending on what kind of scotch you're drinking that night.
I haven't seen that in a long, long time.
Also, Joe Morton uncredited. though.
Uncredited. And that's because he was in the first one, which I had totally... When Joe Morton showed up and he's only in the one scene, I went, the fuck was Joe Morton in this? And why did he know Sandra Bullock's character? I'm like, oh, he's the captain in the first one.
Yeah.
Because they pandered to every possible connectivity to the stupid first movie that they could, even if it made no sense, and the character really didn't want to be there in the first place. It was so contrived. I think I've got contrived written on my notes about 9 times, other than fuck you, Jan de Bont.
All right, we're going to get into what we call the fruits. We're going to talk about the Rotten Tomatoes, and we're going to talk about the Razzies. I got it all here. Don't worry about it, all right?
It was a run by fruiting.
This is one of those things where I sometimes like to look at these numbers and see what this thing is amongst the popularity of people out there. So we'll start with Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, 60% and above on
Nice
either
tomato.
is a good round red fresh tomato. 59% and below in critical and or audience scores is that gross splotch or that knocked over popcorn bucket. So I'm going to ask you guys,
All right.
percent wise, and this is of 76 critical reviews. I'll start with the Manster. What percent do you think that Speed 2 Cruise Control got?
All right. I did not look at any of these numbers. I'm going to say 15.
15. John, what do you think?
Is that how they do these things? Percentage?
Percentage.
See, I've never gone to the website.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
We only do it for these episodes.
I'll say 6.
4%.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was way high.
Critics
Way high.
hated the fuck
All
out
right.
of this.
You have
thing.
audience too?
I have the audience too. Okay, so
Oh, I thought that was the audience.
that's
Oh,
critics.
That was the critics.
critics.
That's critics.
I would have given it lower than if it was critics.
That's critics, and I will say if you don't go to the website, audience is always skews higher.
Typically higher.
All
Because
right.
the audience doesn't know what the hell they want.
What do you got?
All right. I'll say 12.
12. What do you got, John?
People are stupid. Let's see.
The opinions of Sir John.
The money,
are
I'm trying to remember the money it
stupid.
made comparatively, and it wasn't a lot, but I'll say, what'd you say?
12.
I'll give it 20.
Split the difference. 16.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
16%. So this thing clearly did not resonate with audiences and or
No,
with
look at the
critics.
money.
Yeah, we'll get to the money. We'll get to the box office real soon. But let's talk about the 18th Annual Razzie Awards on March 22nd of 1998. This is always kind of fun to see, like, what was out around that same year and what...
So it was less than a year after the movie came out.
yes,
Okay.
it's for the year of 1997 in total. Speed 2 was nominated for 8 Razzies. Batman and Robin that year was nominated for 11.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was nominated for 8 and won 11.
That was really bad too.
Yeah. So...
We had 3 write-ins.
Worst Picture of the Year, Speed 2 nominated. It lost to The Postman. I only saw The Postman once.
come
I liked
on.
it. I liked it.
No.
Not a fan?
No, no. The Postman's fine. It's just I can see why it would have been nominated, but
Right.
to win, no.
Yeah, especially when Speed 2 and Batman and Robin are up for the up for it.
I mean, come on, nipples on costumes and all that.
Joel Schumacher, get those nipples on there for fuck's sakes. Make George Clooney look hot.
Lyle, feminine, heterosexual.
I'm Joel Schumacher. I've banged like 6,000 men. Didn't he say that like before he died? Like,
think
didn't he?
so, something like that, yeah.
I'm like the Wilt Chamberlain of gay guys. Fuck so many dudes. I'm looking at you, Manster. I'm gonna gape
I
you
know. I
out.
turned around and he still got me.
I'm gonna gape you out there on the set of fucking The Lost Boys. You hate my movie. I'm gonna fuck you.
That's not my analese.
All right. Worst actress nominated for her role was Sandra Bullock. She did not win. Demi Moore won for G.I. Jane.
Oh, that's a winner right there. Yeah.
Never saw it.
G.I. Jane. Oh,
Never saw it.
Oh, that's fun.
Didn't bother. Worst supporting actor Willem Dafoe did not win. Lost to a guy who won for 2 movies. A movie called Most Wanted and a movie called U-Turn, which is an Oliver Stone movie. Jon Voight.
You know, he did kind of fall off the radar there for a bit.
He did. He got eaten by that fucking anaconda and spit back up again.
Yeah, but John Voight, wasn't he in Warrior?
No, that was Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte. Sorry, John.
John Voight was
Don't apologize to John Voight.
John Voight was the guy who George Costanza bought the car.
Champ.
Yeah.
John Voight was in The Champ.
That's right.
Man. It's fucking awesome in that.
All right, worst screen couple: Jason Patrick and Sandra Bullock. They did not win. The winners from the film Double Team, Dennis Rodman and Jean-Claude Van Damme. JCVD.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they were in a movie together. All right. Scary. Worst remake or sequel, ding, ding, ding. This is the one they won, Speed 2. Speed 2 was winner for worst remake or sequel. Worst director, the guy that Sir John fucking hates, Jan de Bont. He did not win. Kevin Costner won for Postman.
Yeah.
And by win, I mean lose on all of these, by the way.
The critics really hated The Postman for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's not that bad.
I think we should do that one. I think I'm due for a rewatch on that.
It's long though.
Another Triple T.
It's like 2.5, close to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that's why back then nobody wanted 2 hours.
I think people were mad at Kevin Costner at that time because of Waterworld. It was after Waterworld, and they're mad at him again now because of that Horizon thing and
whatever.
Yeah. All right. Worst screenplay. Speed 2 did not win. The Postman again. Worst original song. It did not win. It's called My Dream from Speed 2. I think that might be the song that the girl is singing. On the boat.
Yeah.
The winner,
but definitely not the song while they were doing the.
It got nominated. Yeah. Yeah. And what they put here was the winner, and they put this very specifically, the entire score and soundtrack of The Postman. So
somebody really hated that movie.
Yeah, 1997. I think we have to do it as a Triple T at some point on the Patreon.
I want to stress. Is that the end of that?
That's the end of that. Yeah.
So I want to stress this. One of the things I did on Speed 2 month was comparing a lot of movies from the year of 1997, and a lot of them were interesting to match up to it. So you had like Con Air. Was released the same week.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, how did that movie do comparatively? You know, it had a much smaller budget, but it was pretty high.
I have numbers for that weekend, actually.
You do? Go hit them.
Oh, do you have the?
Yeah, I have the budget and I have everything.
Let's roll into box office.
All right.
All you care about is money.
I don't want to interrupt, but
No, go ahead.
All right, so the budget, I got a very broad range.
Yeah,
I didn't
because
really look into it. So 110 to 160 million.
So here's the problem with that. They don't know. So 110 was the announced budget, and then later on, as things got tacked on, it got higher and higher. And if you do deeper research, they get into that. The real budget is $160 million.
Damn.
So
fuck you, Jan de Bont, for spending $160 million and wasting our goddamn 2 hours of time.
I don't know if Wikipedia has adjusted. I know people can go in there and IMDb. But the finale stunt, the boat running through the pier, which was a mock-up of the boat on a different boat, but it really did.
But it was full life size.
Life size.
Like they built a town.
$25 million, and it was also the most expensive stunt in movie history, and it says up till that point. Yeah. So I don't know if anything's been blown it out. Probably, most likely, since 1997.
Yeah.
But so yeah, $25 million. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So Weekend made 16.1 million domestic, and on the year 115.9, and then worldwide 164, which says a lot.
Yeah.
It only went from 150 to 164 worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah. And Speed, the original Speed, definitely. I think what I read was it started slower but surpassed it because it was a word of mouth movie.
Yeah,
and I think the budget on that was something like $10 million. It was ridiculously low, and then it went ridiculously high because of the popularity of it. It had a good cast.
The first two treatments of this film, one of them was a boat, a military boat that the ammunition couldn't touch the water, so they had to keep moving. And then there was another one. I don't remember what it was. It was fucking stupid.
It's so dumb.
It's Night Boat, the crime-fighting boat.
Yeah.
All right, I can give you the weekend and then the year, just the top three. So that weekend, Lost World Jurassic Park in its fourth week made 12.4 million.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Con Air.
Yeah.
Like John was saying, in its second week at 15.6. And number 1 that weekend was Speed 2, 16.1.
Yeah, well, fooled everybody, right?
Yeah, it fooled everyone. Because on the year, Men in Black was number 3 at 250 million. Bean, and this is worldwide, Bean is huge overseas.
Apparently.
Yeah. You know who Bean is, right?
Mr.
Rowan
Bean.
Atkinson.
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson,
Yeah. Number 2 that year at 251 million.
Bean is one of the only silly slapstick things that I've ever seen my father laugh at.
Yeah.
You know how you know somebody and you're like, they'll never laugh at this? I saw my dad several times when I still lived at home watching Bean and laughing and in my head going, I don't know this man at all. There was an episode that he was laughing so fucking hard. Mr. Bean goes and buys a couch, but he drives that little car.
And he never spoke a word. Right?
No, he just grunts.
Yeah.
He can't get the couch home. So he ends up putting the couch on top of the car and driving his car with reins.
Yeah.
My father is laughing hysterically. I literally that day at probably like 18 or 19 years old said to myself,
thinking, is this really my father?
I don't even know if this is this might be a pod person.
Number one that year, the ultimate boat movie.
Titanic.
Yes.
Which, funnily enough, it just
1.8 billion.
Yeah. No catching up to that.
we did Titanic for our 300th episode.
That's right.
And 50 episodes later, 50 episodes
Fucking
later,
another-
we come back for
boat
the
movie.
for the other giant boat movie of 1997.
Such a big boat.
Yeah.
You notice how
All right.
big that boat was?
So back to what you were saying.
I don't know what
Sir
the fuck
John.
was I saying?
Well, we were talking about Con Air. You were talking about what else? it
Well,
was
yeah,
going
I
up
mean,
against.
all the other movies that came out at the time or thereabouts, it was fun to compare things like that came out at the same time that had a similar budget or they're within that range, because Con Air had a pretty big budget, but it also made money.
Yeah.
More people went to see that, and it's a much more watchable movie,
Right.
regardless of the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah, we just did Con Air very recently.
I listened to that. I didn't do it, but I listened.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, we did Con Air, and it wasn't as good as I had remembered, but it's definitely. If you're talking about this ilk of movie, we'll get to the we'll get to the ratings. But yeah, it one of the weird things about Willem Dafoe in this movie too, that was smart in. It just seems so weird in so many of like these 90s and 80s action movies. Is he doesn't have like any henchmen or anything.
No.
And you realize it when you're watching it that a lot of the times the enjoyment of a movie like this is the interaction with the bad guys between the bad guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like fucking Hans Gruber. And you remember his crew, right? Like you remember Alexander Goodenough, and you remember the guy who looks like Huey Lewis. And you remember fucking Al fucking Leong. You remember all these guys.
And they typically have at least a halfway decent motivation.
Right. The motivation here is very heavy-handed.
Just a fucking disgruntled employee.
Well, it was basically taking off from the first movie,
Yeah.
a mad employee, but this fell through the grate so hard. I mean, who cares?
He is essentially the prototypical MCU villain who's mad at Tony Stark about something.
Yeah, he's Ultron. Yeah.
He's so Spider-Man Homecoming. Michael Keaton is mad about.
He's Green Goblin.
He's all the Tony Stark villains are mad at Tony Stark over. Jake Gyllenhaal's mad at him because of this, and they all worked for Stark at some point.
Stereo.
Yes.
Never saw it.
He's mad at his company, and I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound dumb, but I didn't know like being a computer programmer got you cancer. How did that work out?
What did the stealing the diamonds have to do with anything?
He's a mustache twirling villain in this, and it's terrible.
He really is. I love when he. And by the way, was this the invention of a selfie? Did you notice that scene where he takes the picture with the two women and she turns her phone on the three of them and takes a selfie?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "Hello, ladies," and he's dressed like the captain. Yeah, and she's like, "Would you take a picture of me and my sister?" And he stands in there and they take a selfie with an old school phone.
right.
I'm like, look at that. That's pretty cool. Let's get into it. Let's start talking before we rate this thing. Let's get into likes and dislikes.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
We're going to start off with John, and we're going to make John say something he liked about this movie.
Sandra Bullock looked great.
I fucking knew that's what you were going to
You
say.
just stole my only like.
Because she did.
Yeah, she looked fantastic.
She looked great, and that's about it.
That's all you got?
What, is there something else?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I haven't
This
thought
movie sucks so fucking hard. I mean, I wish I met a woman that knows how to suck this good. Because holy crap, I would never leave her.
Wow.
You, what do you got?
All right. Although there's not a lot of suspenseful scenes or dramatic scenes.
Wait, what? There's not a lot?
There's a lot in the movie, but none of them are actually dramatic or suspenseful.
So there's none.
So I think there's one that kind of achieves that. Is when they're going for the oil tanker and they just freaking sideswipe it and they just barely miss it.
All right.
If I have to give the movie some kind of I like that scene.
All right. I'll give it a like. And I agree with both of you. Sandra Bullock looks great.
And Sandra Bullock. Yeah, that's my
basically
first
it.
like.
Sandra Bullock looks great. Hear me out before you start fucking yelling at me.
I haven't yelled at him about his last thing. So
He is a charisma vacuum,
which one?
but Jason Patrick is serviceable in the action role, right? He seems like he's up to the task. Like some of the stunt scenes they have him do, like when he has to go down by the propeller and all that stuff. He is serviceable. He actually I read he did the jump in the Ducati and hurt himself in the beginning.
Yeah, I did read something about the stunts.
He is serviceable in it, but we'll get to our dislikes, and I'll mention my dislikes.
I got about 4 pages.
But I think he's a serviceable replacement for Keanu Reeves in the action department. But there is no chemistry between him and her at all.
Any more likes, John?
John, can you pull one more like out of you? Can you reach down into that fucking black pit of a heart that you've got and say, "Oh, it was nice seeing Tim Conway"?
What do you want? It wasn't.
No.
It really wasn't. It wasn't at all. What was the Scottish actor's name?
Oh, what was his name? Hold on.
Jardage.
Brian McCarty.
Yeah, so I recognized him, and I'm like, oh, I like this guy. I like Tamura Morrison as well. I remember him being in this movie and forgot that he had to be stuck into this movie as well, because I've always liked him as well. So there's good people in it. I mean, most of the passengers. I mean, they're all well placed character actors in a movie that really fucking
slightly
sucks.
less than interesting?
I wish they were interesting.
I'll actually jump on this like with John and say that the cast is good.
Yeah.
The characters are not good.
No.
But they did go out of their way to cast this film well.
Okay.
Everybody who's in it is a capable actor. Everybody who's in it has been in good things, and they did do a good job by getting people that you go, like we talked about Haggerty and stuff, like, oh, I know that guy. That's Colleen Camp.
Yeah,
right? Like,
right.
But the problem is like they have, like, even the young black kid who's like the
photographer.
Oh my God.
I don't mind him, but like his little tendency to take pictures of everything got really old really quickly. But like
Within
everybody
the
was
first 5
affable.
minutes.
Everybody was affable in the
Well,
movie.
it kind of got old in the very first scene
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Agreed.
I mean, it was basically forcing the character on you, and you knew he was going to pop up again at some point, and he.
All right, so I didn't mind the
of it.
acting.
So that was another like. Okay.
All right. Do you have any
barely
else?
I'll give you another like. I liked the deaf girl character.
Yeah,
And I like the way Jason Patrick was able to interpret what she was saying and talk to her on the sly.
Fucking Renaissance man, that guy.
I
He knew everything and everybody and everything. But if that man was actually on the LAPD, they wouldn't get in half of the trouble that they do. That's the thing.
Well, they had to make him out to be a bigger badass than Jack Traven, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And that's what I think they were trying to do. I'll give that a like too. I liked the little relationship. I liked the, when she said to him, like, I'll be 15 next month. Like,
well, that wasn't creepy at all.
It was creepy, but she has a crush on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be easier to talk about dislikes. So, why don't you start? You go. You got 4 pages.
The fucking plot sucks so hard.
If you can meet a girl.
All right, let's just start from the very beginning, because when I watched it, I wrote them in order.
This is the floor is yours right now.
Yeah, well,
Are you going to do all your dislikes or just one?
no, I'll do the very first one, and then we'll go from there. The camera angles on this fucking movie, the cinematography is terrible. The camera angles are awful. The very first scene, the motorcycle chase scene, so they're bouncing back and forth between that and watching Sandra Bullock try and drive a VW thing, which is terrible to begin with, because the whole cringeworthy discussion that they're having while you're trying to get back to this stupid motorcycle scene that means absolutely nothing, and watching the camera angle underneath the motorcycle as he's driving over it. It's things like that that drove me crazy, because it wasn't keeping the camera on the character or the action that's going on. It's let's get a shot of the speedometer on the motorcycle. Mm-hmm. Let's get a shot of the tire of the truck that he's chasing.
A Ducati.
Do you have a Ducati stroke fetish or something? What?
The director sure did.
I got you.
Yeah, we saw the logo quite a bit.
Yes, the product placement.
Yes.
Which was okay. I'll give you that. Which they probably got, what, $100,000
Yeah.
for. Holy fuck. I mean, who the fuck places the camera in those angles thinking this is going to be good for the screen?
Jan de Bont does.
Yeah, fuck you, Jan de Bont.
All right,
Former cinematographer.
your first dislike.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to echo what John says, but come from a different angle. Not quite the camera angle, but the first 10 minutes for me were so hard to watch because it's setting up the movie for you and what it's doing.
Did you read that the motorcycle / driving test scene were supposed to be at the end of the movie when they got back? I read that was in the
didn't see
script.
that.
I read they moved it. So maybe the context was different too, but they said that they moved it to the beginning to reintroduce her and then to introduce him as like the new guy.
I guess. No, but to me, it was so hard to watch because you're setting up a meet cute, right?
Yeah.
But can you set up a meet cute for two people who are already together? I guess so. But the way it went back and forth, and Sandra Bullock is so not in the scene that she's driving.
Yeah.
It's so horrible. I mean, it's just so horrible the way she's take a left here. Like she's just not even there and she's doing all these things. It's so ridiculous. And then it just switches back and forth to Jason Patrick on the Ducati.
Jason Patrick without the K.
Yeah, I didn't even really consider the angles, but you're absolutely right about that.
It's driving me crazy.
And just every single thing about the first 10 minutes of that movie is awful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go with okay. So it's an
Boxes falling out of the truck in front of him. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You're usually very calm and reserved. It's okay.
This movie is fucking polarizing.
It's an actionless action movie.
Yeah.
Right. So like you have to get used to the idea that like this is Speed was also a very different action movie because a lot of the action was the vehicular can't go under 55 and they tried to do that here too, but it doesn't work as well. The scenes that you do get where finally you get like the chase scenes between Patrick and Willem Dafoe, you know, there's not any tension there. And then literally the boat going to crash into the ocean liner / crash into the dock is like
At,
fucking
5 knots?
but it's like 30 minutes long.
Fucking ever.
It's like 30 minutes long of screen time. It feels like if it's not 30 minutes, it feels like 30 minutes. I don't know in any universe where the first mate is still counting off the knots, even as they're plowing through shit.
I have that on there,
3
too.
knots.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, we get it. You're
The sweatiest Scotsman I've ever seen.
we get it. You are eventually going to stop.
And to throw that on there, he's also doing it at a camera angle that makes no goddamn sense because he's like leaning over. 2 knots!
Yeah.
Horace Clayton!
So it's definitely and look, a lot of the action it revolves around having to run down different decks of the ship and go underwater and there, you know, I don't know, maybe I would have just preferred more of a bang bang pow pow kind of action movie. And that's kind of part of the problem of not having any henchmen is that there's only one bad guy to try to capture. So it's I don't know, it just feels so slow. It feels so fucking slow once they get on that boat and start moving forward, and then when all the mayhem happens, it just feels like nothing's happening. John, what's your next one? 4 pages of dislikes.
Well, you jumped ahead to all the way to the end, so. What was my second one? Oh, no, we did that one. Motorcycle chasing. Oh, the fucking music. Let's talk about the goddamn music.
It's in my notes.
The score is so terrible.
It's so bad.
It's so awful.
Is it Graham Revell? Did you write down who that was?
I didn't even write it because I didn't care.
Mark Mancina.
Okay.
All right. So I had to look the guy up because I'm like, who is this guy that could make the music so bad and sound at the same time as if I'm watching Captain Ron, you know, or Club Paradise.
It does have like a whimsical fun feel, and then it has like.
Well, how about during the emergency boat scene when it's what do you call it?
Oh, the
escape
lifeboat? Yeah.
The lifeboats. Thank you. When they're falling down, right? It's supposed to be dramatic, and they're playing this music, and it's so fucking awful.
Yeah.
There's nothing dramatic about the music they're playing.
No, you want to talk phoning it in? I think this guy took his paycheck and went, okay, I'll give it to my grandson or something like that. I mean, he did it on a Casio at his home.
He did it on a Casio in his home.
Just so fucking terrible. I never pick on the music for movies, but holy shit, this is terrible.
Yeah, it was noticeable. I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
All right, Master, what do you got?
This is more of just a general thing, but I feel like the writing and the performances of this movie expects you as a viewer to be entertained by it, you know? But as a viewer, you're watching it like the movie wants you to think that it's a good movie.
Right.
That really pissed me off because you're watching it, you're like, this is just garbage. But they want me to think it's not. But it is.
They're fooling me.
They're trying to pull one over on me, but they don't even know they're trying to because they think it's a good movie.
Yeah. I wonder... I wonder if, like, you know, and this isn't, I'm not giving credit to Jan de Bont, but he made Twister the year before, which was a big hit.
It was.
And I wonder if, like, he was just like, shit, I'm contractually obligated to make Speed fucking 2. And even I know that, like, we can't make Speed 2 and make it good. Like, unless, you know, like here's the problem. Here's one of the biggest problems with this movie is the Die Hard problem. Die Hard comes out, it's a huge hit, and then every sequel has to be Die Hard in, or every movie at that time. Speed is almost Die Hard on a bus.
Right. Oh, absolutely,
right?
yeah.
But now Speed has created its own thing. Something's moving and can't be... It's the Juggernaut movie. And now it's like, well, we have to have a Juggernaut movie again.
Yeah.
And you know what? If Keanu Reeves could have come back, I wouldn't have mind seeing just some fucking action movie with him in it as the same character. Or if you had to bring back Sandra Bullock... and bring in like Jason Patrick or Maddie Mack or whoever, have that just be some other thing.
Bring in Shawnee Mack.
Yeah, bring Shawnee Mack in.
Well, did you notice how badly they stapled Jason Patrick's character into the script?
Yes,
because it's so contrived and so terrible. You can actually see the scenes where they just like cut out a Keanu shaped hole and they shoved Jason Patrick into it.
The driving ed scene and the bike scene, 100%.
Oh yeah.
So she's explaining to Tim Conway why the relationship didn't work using the joke that they made at the end of the first movies that relationships that start in these kind of circumstances never last. And she's explaining that, oh, well, he got me pepper spray for my birthday, and I used it as perfume. It's a huge Keanu Reeves size hole.
Yeah.
But do you think? Let me ask you a question though. Do you think Keanu Reeves could have made this movie any better?
Oh God, no. And he made the right choice not doing this movie.
Right.
So good on you, Keanu. Thank you for doing Chain Reaction, Keanu. If you ever listen to this,
Right.
All right, I will give another dislike, and I will say that it is Sandra Bullock just disappears out of this movie.
yeah, kind of.
Like 190%.
Yeah.
Now, okay, look, is she phoning it in? Sure.
But it's kind of okay.
But it's a dislike on one side, but it's also okay for her because I feel better for her.
Yeah.
But essentially, once they finish off,
it comes back in the end, and she's just as bad in the end.
She shows up at the end again just to be she's the damsel in distress. But like, there is just such a long period of time where we are just following Jason Patrick. And I'm thinking to myself, if Keanu Reeves had come back, they would never have separated them like this for this amount of time. They're trying to either force Jason Patrick down our throat, or she's saying, I don't want to be in that much of this movie.
Right.
Pay me my blank, 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 and I'm going to go on the weird
Was it
double...
12 million,
something
maybe?
like that. I'm going to go on that weird double jet ski with fucking Willem Dafoe.
What a weird machine that was.
Like it's two jet skis put together and you can... What is it? I didn't get that.
All right, so, and that's going to bring up my next complaint.
Yeah, well, perfect. Go.
Because it's on that damn weird little jet ski boat thing. Did you notice and this is how I put it on my notes here, the Batman 1966 like machines?
I did not.
So to try and explain to the audience what was happening to certain plot devices or things that are in front of them without having to actually give exposition. So on that stupid jet ski boat, there's a big thing on it says release button.
Yes, okay, I did see that. Yeah,
yeah, and then the fiber optic converter box.
That's the one. That's the one that I was like, why is that written so large on that fucking thing? Oh, because we have to explain to the audience. And as the movie goes on, there's more and more of that shit. When he's going into the power room, so everything's written on the wall. Like, this is fucking insane. There is no ship that has all this kind of information stapled to the wall, so your regular passenger can go by and go, I know what that is.
Yeah, the regular passengers certainly, like, when Defoe goes into the con the first time, like, acting drunk, it's so easy. Aren't there doors? Like, I've been on cruise ships. I don't remember ever being able to get near, like, the fucking, like, the con ever.
Like I said, the plot device is the contrivance to make this movie move forward is just beyond the pale of idiocy. Or what did I put? I put stupid on here, like in huge capital letters. So it's on here somewhere.
Yeah, I have stupid somewhere as well.
All right, Master, you got another dislike?
I'm going to go with there it is.
Stupidity.
Stupidity in big letters.
I'm going to go with something that is very mansterish, where I pick on something that's ridiculous, whether it's physically or scientifically. When he goes underwater and he's got the cable and he's trying to hook the fucking propeller.
Why did he let himself get in that position?
Just give me a fucking break. Everything about that scene, maybe 12 inches away from a fucking propeller, and you're trying to stick something into it. All right, that's like standing in front of a fucking jet engine, right, and then not getting pulled in.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Enough. We're not that stupid, movie.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But apparently we were.
This is the aliens arm argument.
Yeah, okay.
And she's holding on to two movies I can think of. Oh, Jan de Bont did it in Twister when he puts his belt around that pipe and doesn't get sucked into a fucking F5 tornado. Yeah. That was pretty fucking stupid too.
The leather belt.
Jan de Bont. Look at him fucking things left and right.
Oh god, this whole movie is choked with them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that really. I'll just go back to
how about I got you another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
When the boat is slowly crashing into the town and the dock and ripping everything apart, and there's still people with their fucking back to it on the telephone looking over their shoulder. Oh!
All right, so I'm going to jump ahead again because you bring that up. Besides the fact that the town so obviously was fake.
Yeah.
Besides that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, besides that. Besides the shitty set design for this fucking shitty movie, when do you think someone should have signaled at some point before coming into the bay that there was a ship out of control?
Oh, the horn or something?
That's what
Not
I'm
just
saying.
the horn. Fucking flare.
Anything.
You know the first flare that got shot off?
Was hers when she's trying to tell Alex where she is on that cool ass fucking jet ski.
1 hour, 48 minutes, 52 fucking seconds into the movie. You gotta be fucking kidding me!
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a crew full of people. They don't know how to fucking fire a flare off. There's so many different signals on a ship to let people know that the damn thing's in danger. I don't care if the guy is taking it over by computer or whatever the fucking thing he did in there, because it was... I think every computer X is probably looking at that movie and going, wow, this movie sucks.
Do you think
Hashtag 90s computer.
God, you could have used semaphore, for fuck's sake.
that's a dislike right there for me.
Yeah.
It's something we love here on the Pint, but 90s computer.
Oh, yeah, well,
90s computer is when you're able just to type anything into a computer and it answers it. This movie, everything is 80s or 90s computer.
What was his thing he typed into? Course correction for the ship.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, 80s computer fucking all the way.
Yeah.
Big capital letters so everyone can read it on the screen.
So another hardcore dislike for me, and it goes back to something John said earlier where they were trying to attach all these different tendrils to the first movie, is the fact that Glenn Plummer is in the end of this movie again. Like, just the idea that he'd be, even though it's not Keanu Reeves, which would have made it even more ridiculous, that he has somehow run into these people again. At the very least, the only thing they did that I liked about it was they actually made him a little heroic, where he's actually driving the boat and helping.
Yeah.
But the idea that this guy is now here, I guess in a writer...
He's basically had two things hijacked.
Correct.
Yeah.
At the end of a speed movie.
And
Right.
That was kind of thrown into the dialogue too. This shitty fucking dialogue. But I put him down as What do they call it? What's his name? Poor Glenn Plummer.
Yeah.
Poor Glenn Plummer for having to do this fucking shitty movie, but realizing, I'm a working actor. I have to take this fucking paycheck.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this as best as I possibly can. You look at him in that first movie. He's a interesting character. I mean, he's an upstanding citizen. He's got a real nice car. He dresses really nice. And then you get him to this movie where he's got a brand new boat. And he talks about how much he paid for it.
Yeah.
And the fucking thing is like, we're just going to fuck him over.
Yeah.
Fuck him over. This poor guy, he should be doing really other movies at this point.
Can't you see I'm on a date?
Yeah, that woman, that poor woman. Yeah, the dialogue they gave her.
Yeah.
Oh, look, fireworks. Oh, because she lives at a bay. She doesn't know what a fucking flare looks like. Come on.
All right, John, I got to ask you.
You don't have any neighbors upstairs, right?
No one.
You got 4 pages, so we got to ask you at least for a couple more dislikes. I got to get
just a couple.
Just a couple out of you. Yeah, I got to hear. Give us your big.
I wonder if one of them is going to be another one I can give you.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the chainsaw on the ship? No.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
Chopping through the fire door, which a chainsaw can do really easily.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that, right? You can take a chainsaw.
No, it's fucking like a melanite or melamine board.
Let's see. Frantic, pushing faux drama. Don't really fucking care because we already talked about faux drama. 1 hour, 14 minutes in, 36 seconds. The plot finally catches up with the ship colliding with the island. Over an hour in, we finally get to the point where the ship is going to hit the island.
Yeah, it took a long time to get there.
And by then, did anyone give a fuck?
I think it was. I only did the timing thing once, but I think it was like 38 minutes before Willem Dafoe actually takes the boat over.
Yeah.
So there's almost 40 minutes of just like them talking about like dancing around the fact that he wants to like ask her to marry him and her like there's like 40 minutes of meet cute like before Willem Dafoe like actually like takes the heads off of his golf clubs and realizes that they're bombs and he's got leeches and shit.
Fucking leeches.
Oh yeah, the leeches.
And I love how
forgot all about that till just now.
Well, they burst into the damn room that he's in, and they find they're all in the tub.
In the tub, yeah.
And what's his name? Alex something.
Alex Shaw.
Yeah. Super brain there. Alex Shaw knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Yeah, he's just like a genius or something. Jesus Christ.
I'm surprised they didn't like form to make a super leech. Like a hive mind leech.
Hive mind leech.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yours basically just iterated what my last dislike is, which is
why did they shut off the fuel flow to the engine?
It really goes through the whole movie. Is this movie does not know when to just fucking end.
Yeah. How do you know how long this movie is? Do you have a runtime? Was it less than 2 hours?
Over 2 hours.
Yes, two and change. I
Wow.
forget. Yeah, not like it was like 2 and 2 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
But it's over 2 hours.
Okay.
2 fucking hours.
All right. That's a lot of likes and dislikes. John can go longer, but we're going to go right over to the Triple T section. Let's do that.
What?
All right. So here is where we give our rating.
What about the dog?
Wait, what dog? Was there a dog? Oh, the dog! At the very end that ends up in the fucking car.
The first siren that happens in this movie, after the ship is going through harbor, slicing down boats, chopping through everybody in the harbor that seems to have everything going on in it at once. The first siren starts at 1 hour, 46 minutes, 43 seconds.
I like how most of John's dislikes are maritime law.
Oh, I have so much. When that fucking cruise ship hits the damn tanker, that tanker does not budge.
Nope.
Bullshit. Yeah. There is no... That doesn't work in physics.
Somehow just skimmed it enough. It was anchored. I don't know.
The cruise ship barely moves the tanker.
Right.
Yeah.
But Willem Dafoe,
right.
when he lands his plane like Wile E. Coyote on the mast of that ship, the whole ship blows up.
And it's like, let's hit the... We're all...
The whole fucking ship. Like, boom, 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 boom.
As soon as the plane collides with it, the abandoned ship. Bullshit. That would ever happen.
Let me ask you something. Does fuel dripping onto an oil tanker cause an explosion?
Not like
how is that even possible?
I wondered the same thing because I felt like I missed something igniting, but I don't think anything ignited. It just
yeah.
I'll
fuck you, Yonda Bond.
I'll jump into it again. Let's talk about our Triple T.
You gentlemen seen your midterm grades yet?
Oh, they're not posted yet, sir.
I've seen them.
All right. So trash, tolerable, or treasure. We're going to go to John last because we know the answer, but I want him to. I mean, he can expound a little bit. But
Ooh, thanks.
But we'll let the Master go. Master, which of the triple T's do you give 1997's Speed to Cruise Control?
I think we spoke enough about the movie and its shortcomings that I don't really need to expand. This movie is just the worst possible trash imaginable.
So you're going with the strong trash. All right.
Strong, smelly, just gross, like got fucking bloody tampons in it kind of trash.
Smacked with a bloody tampon. All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go next. So I am the one who very famously said this wasn't that bad for an action movie. I've ridden that wave for many years. I own this on DVD. I watched my copy. I do not own Speed in any format. Still. It's almost like a point of pride. I forgot to do it today. I was going to do it. I loaded my bag up with all of our equipment, with my notes, with everything. I was going to bring my DVD here so the three of us could fucking destroy it because this movie is fucking hot trash.
Yeah.
This movie is hot trash. There you go, everybody. I had
only
not
taken, 25 years?
Vindication.
Yeah.
I admittedly had definitely seen it multiple times before me and John talked about it that first time. I don't know if I had ever seen it since, but I held on to that feeling. This is not good. This is not good. Keanu Reeves really did his career a favor by not choosing to do this.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock looks great, and she made money. You know, good for Jason Patrick. I bet you this gave him some opportunities. He probably got some things based on being in a mega movie. I don't know what, because he didn't do a lot of big things, but who knows? Maybe someone noticed him and said, let's put him in this movie. But otherwise, it is an actionless action movie. The characters are all wet farts. Yes, the actors who play them are not bad, but there's nothing of substance here. Willem Dafoe deserves so much better. He could have been Willem Dafoe could have played the John Malkovich role in Con Air and been great at it.
Oh yeah,
because he would have been able to play off of Ving Rhames, and he could have done the same level. He's that level of an actor. And unfortunately, he's given nothing here and nobody to play off of.
No, just fucking leeches.
And then, like you said, there's like that weird, why is he stealing the diamonds? I get it. It's because he lost his job, but I don't know. So this movie is fucking trash. Sir John, it's all you know.
Yeah. Calling it trash is actually making it a little too rosy for me. It's so far below trash. It doesn't even come close. Fuck you, Yondaban, for once again having me go through this shit. And actually, here's the thing.
Did you have to rent it?
No. I know how to rip things.
All right.
I don't. I have to learn this.
No, it's just I can't believe. I remember how shitty it was, but I hadn't watched it even when I was doing all those Speed 2 months. I never watched it to compare it to the other movies because it just went off my memory. Now, having seen it again after so long, I wish I had never seen it the first time. It's such a painful fucking movie. I mean, is this where shaky cam was developed? Because it seemed like the whole movie's fucking shaky cam just to make it look like the movie is moving.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, actionless action movie is such a great way of describing it, because as much as it's moving, people don't understand how fast a knot is. So the boat's not really going that fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, it's really heavy, so it's going to do a lot of damage. But Jesus Christ, this movie sucks.
It's just crawling.
Well, I had something here I was going to say.
Absolutely.
This thing makes all the disaster movies of the 1970s era genius filmmaking.
Ooh.
Every single one of those disaster films.
Airport 77.
Yeah, all of them. Even Swarm.
Irwin Allen's boner in his grave right now. He's fucking pushing his headstone up.
Because really, I mean, Irwin Allen knew how to make a disaster movie. If that's what Jan de Bont was trying to do, make a disaster movie as well as an action movie, he failed miserably. I mean, this thing was like the worst ejaculate ever happening to the planet. It's just
You can't top that. So we're gonna.
I wish we were still naming our episodes that way.
Yeah, that might have been it.
I just can't describe how terrible this movie is, and some of the shitty movies I've watched to compare it to just make it that much shittier.
Yeah, I'd definitely rather watch The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, and I would never compare the two of them because The Greasy Strangler has such a smaller budget. But
yeah,
you know, I did compare Tusk to it once.
Okay,
but Tusk was always going to win out anyway.
I didn't like Tusk very much, but
No, it's a stupid movie.
I liked it more than this. I'd rather, or let's put it this way, I'd rather watch it than this.
Yeah. Well, you got Michael Parks. So.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And Michael Parks elevates that movie beyond what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Manster, tell everybody where they can find us, and then we're going to talk about Pine and Comics a little bit.
We are?
Absolutely.
If you're listening to this, you already found us. You know where the fuck to get us.
Ooh. What if it's a first-time listener? Be nice.
If it's a first-time listener, they still found us.
They did. They did.
Smart.
Any of your podcatchers, Facebook and YouTube, it's The Pint Pop Culture Podcast, Instagram and Threads, at The Pint
Oh,
Podcast.
no, you're not.
I don't. We're on Threads, but I don't think I've done more than 5 things ever.
It's
on
mostly Instagram.
Instagram. I like Instagram.
And obviously, you know, this is would normally be a Patreon Insider episode, but we're letting all of you fans enjoy it. But if you want to be a Patreon and get more Triple T's, it's patreon.com/thepint.
That's right. And this is our 350th episode. So,
Hey, congrats, by the way.
hey, thank you.
you.
Well, you're heading there too. This is
not
what,
far away, no.
This is what I want to say before we jump over and talk about Pine and Comics. So, me and John started Pine and Comics, and it was a podcast, this podcast, and a radio show. Eventually, we both kind of moved off, and John kept the Pine and Comics moniker. We became the Pint. But this is what's really important to kind of put out there is that we're on episode 350, and John is almost at 350. We have Patreon episodes. John has extra things he's done. This is like, at this point, like 800 plus episodes of, if you want to combine them, of an entertainment that was born out of John and I being on a podcast together with our buddy Vinny called From the Hip.
Wow.
In 2015 and 16 that lasted about a year and maybe 75 episodes. So if you want to add that into it, that's a lot of stuff put out there. And we're both still doing our stuff weekly. And John, you're like on 349, 48 or something was your last episode?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I can't even remember. This is how terrible it was. It was just Sunday, and I can't even 347, I think.
Yeah, you're right there. So tell everybody all about Pine and Comics and where you're at and what you do.
Well, yeah, I'm on WESU, and that's 88.1 FM. That's frequency modulated, and that's terrestrial radio here in Middletown, Connecticut. You can hear it if you stream it, anyway, on WESUFM.org, or on your favorite radio application. That would be an app to those of you younger than me.
And what do you generally, Pine and Comics, you're heavily on the comic book stuff, right? But you don't just do that.
Pine and Comics at this point now is full pop culture. Comics is the foundation of everything. But yeah, I do a lot of comics. I do movies. Drinks. Remember those?
Yes.
Remember how we used to do the drinks? You know what's coming up?
What was his name? What was the tiki?
Beach Bum Berry.
Beach Bum Berry. Yeah. What's coming up?
So coming up, his name's Josh Knoll. He is the writer of the Book of Malort.
Oh, fuck Malort.
Yeah. It's been a long time since that's the birth of my existence in Pita Comics, I think.
Yeah.
This guy has written a book about the champagne of pain.
The champagne of pain. Tonight you fight your father. Yeah.
That's what this used to say. It faded off, though, unfortunately.
Malort is, if Pine and Comics had a lifeblood to begin it with, it seemed to have been Malort. That was a great little icebreaker. Obviously, as Lloyd said, that's like how we kind of first got him.
Wasn't it the Malort Challenge?
The Malort Challenge.
We still have that challenge, right?
Yeah.
We just got to get a bottle of Malort.
Yeah, unfortunately, I ran out. We used up the last of it at a friend party, and I've got a couple more bottles coming. I have a supplier, I guess. In
The fact that you drink that shit is just it's
not as bad as you think.
It's a testament to the blackness of your soul.
I think we got to put this challenge out there again. Any listeners, any new listeners who don't know what we're talking about, you could come to the show, hang with us, and do a shot of Malort.
If John can get us a bottle, then we'll put
get
it back
a bottle.
out there.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
Okay, get us a bottle. Yeah. Get us a bottle. We still have some people out there that would like to try it.
Yeah.
But so
not difficult.
350 episodes of the Pint, almost 350 episodes of Pine and Comics. It's awesome. John, thank you for coming back on after such a long time, and this was so much fun. We got to do this more. We got to just have you over.
Getting the band back together.
Get the band back together and do some more episodes. Maybe, you know what we should do? Let's just bring John back for the postman. Let's just have him come on for the postman. Because clearly, like, that sounds like a good conversation. What's he looking at? He's looking at
So Annie had a nice quote towards the end of the movie, and it said, I was so scared I didn't think I'd make it. And I was like, is that your career? Are you worried about this?
She did good. She did okay.
Fine. Yeah, but I would be worried too after filming this piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Yondabont.
I think that's all we got to say on that. So don't forget to check us out. Go to our Patreon, check us out there, and go check out Piney Comics on WESUFM.org.
Every Sunday night. 6:30 p.m.
All the way to the left side of the dial. See ya.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!